What's up, guys? Rob coming back at you from Success Rebellion, where we help entrepreneurs optimize their health for performance, as well as reverse the adverse health effects of a busy lifestyle. And today we're going to talk more about sleep deprivation, and sleep optimization. And I talked about in the previous video the detrimental cognitive effects of sleep deprivation. And you guys need to understand, as entrepreneurs, we're focused on two things, right? When it comes to optimizing performance and productivity, and that's output and efficiency, okay? Simply how much we get done and how quickly we get it done, all right? And that will determine pretty much your results in terms of what you're trying to produce and your outcomes, all right? Now, when you don't have your sleep optimized, you simply cannot focus at a greater level, as well as you won't be able to produce at a higher level, meaning your output and your efficiency are both going to be diminished. You're going to be operating at 50%, while your competitors who have their sleep and their health optimized will be operating at 90 to 100%. You guys you won't be able to compete. You simply won't be able to compete. So, when you have sleep optimized and you have that going for you, the playing field is equal, of course, assuming that you guys have equal intelligence levels, you guys have very similar products, etc. Right? You guys want to level the playing field, or better yet, gain an advantage as much as possible. And this sleep health is one thing that is frequently ignored by entrepreneurs, or at least attacked in the wrong way. So, when we talk today about sleep deprivation and ways to optimize sleep, that is what we aim to tackle, all right? Now, in terms of sleep deprivation and sleep optimization, obviously to combat sleep deprivation, we want to tackle it from a standpoint of what are the cycles of sleep and how can we go about optimizing them, okay? Now, when it comes to sleep, we really want to focus on not only just our REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, but also our non-REM sleep. That's very important as well. There's a bunch of metabolic processes in the body, as well as other bodily functions and cognitive functions that happen during non-REM sleep. But REM sleep is super important because that's where the bulk of the housekeeping takes place. You'll notice that you have higher amounts of brain activity when you have REM sleep, and your cycles of REM sleep are about like anywhere from 10 minutes to as long as an hour, sometimes more, when you're sleeping. And as the cycles go on, and you'll notice when you look at sleep metrics, as your cycles go on, as you sleep, your REM cycles get longer. So when you're looking at someone's sleep metrics, and you can see them on your Oura Ring, your smartwatch, which if you don't have one, I highly suggest getting one. I'm not an affiliate. I'm just saying that you should have one of these to be tracking your sleep metrics, because if you're not, you're simply not taking your performance seriously. Just calling it what it is. You need to take this stuff seriously, guys, and anything that doesn't get tracked does not improve. If you're not tracking it, you're not measuring it, and therefore it will not improve. Simple as that. Anyway, when you're looking at your sleep metrics and you're looking at your amount of deep sleep, REM sleep, you're going to see that as your sleep, as you get further into the night, your REM sleep duration tends to get longer, right? And you'll notice that the bulk of that REM sleep tends to take place within the 5 to 8 hour mark. Why is that important? Because in the latter end of your cycles of sleep is when you get the most REM sleep, right? That'll be, like I said, between the 5 to 8 hour mark. So a lot of you entrepreneurs who only want to get your 6 hours of sleep, hashtag Gary V, you will be cutting off a massive amount of that REM sleep that you're trying to get. Because in the non-REM sleep cycle, a lot of the deep sleep that you're going to get, which is also very important, takes place in that latter hours of sleep. you'll notice when you wake up in the middle of the night or toward the end of the night that you're the most drowsy. There's a reason for that. That's when your body's supposed to be in REM sleep or coming out of REM sleep. Guys, if you are thinking of depriving yourself of sleep from, I'm gonna get 5 hours or 6 hours of sleep for, however many weeks, months, just don't do it, because you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot when it comes to your focus and production. Your REM sleep is integral to your focus. Integral to your focus, integral to your mindset. If you are not getting your proper amount of REM sleep, you will not be able to compete with your competitors. The other people in your niche who have this stuff optimized will be able to operate at 90% or higher while you are operating at 50 to 60%. I guarantee it. If you are putting up with it, it's only in the short term. And a lot of the people who come to me asking questions, they're relying on caffeine, different types of stimulants, drugs. Guys, that stuff will not sustain you long term, okay? So focus on getting your 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night so you get those latter stages of longer REM sleep, all right? Now, how to increase your REM sleep. We delved into some basics in a video that I put out earlier this week. Some more ways that you can get into that I'll go more in depth on was I talked about a sleep schedule, a basic wake up time and bedtime. For me, that's 10 p.m. and I wake up anywhere between 5:30 to 6 a.m. right? Now, you can debate with me that, but I like waking up at 4 a.m. and this and that. That's cool. You can wake up at 4 a.m. You just need to make sure you go to sleep at 8 p.m. That's fine. Whatever works for you. But don't think you can go to sleep at 10 p.m. and wake up at 4 p.m. and expect to have the same type of productivity and performance long term, because you won't. Your body says, especially if you're a bigger individual. Bigger individuals, taller, that weigh more, they simply need more sleep. Bigger individuals tend to need more sleep. That's what the data shows, at least. Anyway, you guys really need to prioritize a sleep schedule, because it'll ensure that you are in bed the amount of hours that you need to be in bed. Why? Because, as the data shows, for the amount of time that you're actually in bed, you're only sleeping for an average of 85% of that time. You're usually only sleeping for an average amount of 85% of that time. This will vary. For most people, between 80 to 90%, but the data says 85. So, as a result, if you're sleeping in bed for roughly 8 hours, that means you're roughly only getting 7 hours of sleep, right? Because 7 out of 8, that's roughly around, 84%? So what does that mean? That means if you're in bed for 8 hours, you're probably only getting 7 hours of sleep, right? Which is like the bare minimum you will need to be able to function, right? So if you try to work on a proper sleep schedule, which ensures that you are in bed for 8 hours, preferably 9 hours, you are getting the adequate amount of sleep quantity. Now, what can you do to improve your sleep quality? Because if your sleep quality sucks, meaning you're getting less than that 85% of time being asleep, or you're constantly awake, your continuality of sleep sucks. So like we said before, having sleep fragmentation, you're also depriving yourself of sleep. So what can you do to improve that? We talked about this before. There's a number of things you can do. Like I said before, creating a proper sleep routine, right? This will consist of removing yourself from work. Removing yourself from your work tasks, all right? And how can you properly remove yourself from your work tasks? 1, end your day at least 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep. Okay? And as you end your day, you want to plan out your day for tomorrow. Plan out tomorrow, as well as write out all your thoughts. Everything that's going through your mind, all the stressors, as well as all the things that you accomplished. Just do a massive brain dump. This won't take long, actually. You'd be surprised. You know, a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be journaling for an hour. No, you won't. You'll be journaling for like 10 minutes at the most. You'll plan out your day and you'll brain dump all your stressors. And usually your stressors can be anything from finances to different projects that you have to get done to, you know, hiring employees. You just want to make sure that all that stuff is brain dumped, because this will be a massive release for yourself as well, from a mindset standpoint. So you know, one, exactly what needs to get done, what your day looks like tomorrow, and what you're tackling. You'd be surprised, a lot of people's stressors come about simply from disorganization and not having a simple to-do list or plan on what needs to get done. So you want to have that massive brain dump. Get that stuff done, make your to-do list for tomorrow, know exactly what needs to get done so you can detox from the work day, okay? This will be part of your evening routine as well, is you want to put on, I don't have them with me, but you want to have on your red light glasses and properly start to relax yourself. Put on your red light glasses, turn off your bright lights, you can open the windows if you want to, or close the blinds if it's still light outside. But you want to make and dim your environment. Induce nighttime. No bright lights, no electronics, nothing that pretty much stimulates the brain. And that's pretty much the whole point of the routine, is to move away from things that stimulate the brain. Okay? So, like I said before, red lights, stay away from all bright lights, blue lights, electronics, move away from all that stuff, all right? Ideally, a half hour before bed, or maybe even 15 minutes, just sit in your bed. You can listen to calming music. I heard some people, and I've never tried this actually, you can listen to something boring. You can listen to something really boring that you're not interested in. Apparently this helps people fall asleep as well. But usually what works for me is super calm orchestra music or super smooth R&B at a really, really low volume. But you want to induce drowsiness. Sitting down, relaxing, or lying in your bed relaxing, this will help a lot. You can lower the temperature of your room to roughly 65 degrees. Your body tends to go down in temperature as you sleep anyway. So having a slightly colder environment will help your body properly induce drowsiness and transition into sleep, okay? So those are things that you can do in your evening routine, as well as setting your environment up for sleep. Now, other things that you can do to make sure that you properly transition over to sleep, I mentioned this in the last video, is make sure to eat no closer than 2 hours before bed. Ideally 3 to 4 hours before bed. Now this will be hard for you guys who are intermittent fasting, which I preach a lot. I intermittent fast, and you know, I realize that this is a challenge because many entrepreneurs, including myself, don't eat for the first 6 to 8 hours of the day. Well, the reason you don't want to eat close to bed, one, is your body takes a lot of energy to digest food. You have higher blood flow, and also your body temperature rises. So that makes it very difficult to fall into deep sleep. So you do not want to have your body digesting food while you're trying to fall asleep, as well as if you have gut health issues, inflammation, all of those things can rear its head while you're trying to properly digest food. But things that you can do to combat that, to make sure that your body has the proper amount of time to digest food before you go to sleep, is simply eating earlier. Now, if you're intermittent fasting, simple ways that you can do that is, one, time restrict your eating window a little more. So say if you wake up at 6 a.m., right? And you used to not eating until anywhere from 12 to 1 p.m., you can simply say, I'm going to have a 6-hour eating window, right? I'm going to have a 6-hour eating window, and I'm going to have my meals at 2, 3, and 6 p.m. And I'm going to be done eating by 6:30, right? That gives you at least 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. That's a good window, right? Or if you simply want to say, but I need, my 4 meals, or I need my 3 good sized meals, that's cool. You can just portion your meals where you get the majority of your calories in your first 2 meals, and that you can have your last meal at 7:30, and just make sure that that meal is very, very small. The smaller the meal, the quicker and easier it is to digest. And that'll make sure that, it gets through as quickly as you can, and it will minimize the impact it has on your sleep. But ideally, you want to be done eating at least like 2 hours before bed. Ideally, 3+ hours. So if you could be done eating, you go to sleep at 10 p.m. that is, to be done eating by 7. Now, personally, I'm usually done eating by about 8 o'clock or so. 7:30 on most nights, but at the latest it'll be 8. So I'm usually done eating anywhere from 2 to 2.5 hours before sleep, and my sleep metrics are pretty good. Now I'm trying to improve on them to make them as great as possible, but these are some things that you guys can do as well. I'm trying to move my time window up. So these are some simple things that you can input when it comes to eating. Another thing that you can do is for your exercise, is just simply to exercise consistently. And when you exercise, do some type of resistance training. It's something that puts strain on your muscular system. This will help the body induce more hormones, as well as different growth factors that heighten during your REM sleep, as well as deep sleep. And this will help induce more repair and recovery. Hence why resistance training is such a great method for getting deeper sleep. But exercise in general induces deeper sleep as well. And you don't have to do anything crazy. Simple things like going on a walk for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, once or twice a day, perfect, okay? Whatever you guys can fit into your busy schedule will really help when it comes to sleep. Just make sure you're not doing too much and you're not doing it right before bed. If you are doing any type of exercise, any closer than an hour before bed, it can't be anything more than a brisk walk. Do not do any type of strenuous exercise more than an hour or 2 before sleep. It's gonna really fuck you up. But those are some small things that you guys can do. Some other easy things: make sure that you're not in a noisy environment, that you're not in a disruptive environment. If you live in a city like I do, I live in Washington, D.C., it can be noisy. I live, a few miles away from the highway. There's ambulances and buses going through here and there. I have earplugs as well as noise canceling headphones. You guys can input these things to drown out the noise. If you have roommates, same thing. You have those things to drown out the noise. You want to have as little disturbances in your environment as possible to make sure that you can sleep as simply as possible, all right? These are all things that you can do and put in your environment so you don't have to worry about the proper transition for sleep. Anyway, I hope these hacks help you guys for better sleep optimization. Remember, this is crucial for you being able to optimize your health and being able to compete at the highest level in business and entrepreneurship. You guys will be able to use this as a leg up over your competition, or at the very least, level the playing field, okay? You have to assume your competitors are as smart and working as hard as you are. So any advantage you can get against them, get after it, man. Remember, output and efficiency. Everything you do as an entrepreneur should be when it comes to productivity, that is, should be to increase and optimize those two fronts. And sleep helps you with both. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. This video is already getting a little long. Go ahead and get after it, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.